Romania,
Bulgaria.
right? Bulgaria, sorry.
Bulgaria? Awesome.
I was close.
Yeah, we are neighbors with
Pretty
Romania.
close.
Okay, we're live now, everybody.
Cool.
Just so you know.
Awesome.
Welcome, everybody. I'm going to be sharing in 1 second the invite link in the Zoom chat.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay. The link is up in the Zoom in the chat. Check all copy. Okay, I'm coming back into Zoom right now. One more thing. Okay, we're back here. We're going to get started in a couple minutes. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. We do this every week. This is a free transmission that is available to all. You can ask any sort of question. There are, of course, limits to what can actually be answered, but everything is welcome. You can unmute yourself when the person before you is finished, or you can type your question either into the YouTube chat box or into the Zoom chat box, and somebody will get to it. We might not get to every written question. Sometimes it gets really full. Sometimes it doesn't. And so the time zones are kind of in adjusting right now as the clocks are being pushed back around the world. It doesn't happen exactly at the same time. So I'm not exactly sure what time we're going to start next week, but we will do it again every week. You might hear a little bit of feedback on my end today as there is, I'm in a cafe. I don't have the best Wi-Fi. I mean, I don't have the best internet reception on my phone. It's unlimited data, but it is rather slow. So I've got to work with this for now. But I'm going to look for better options. I just arrived in Mexico and it's a really new place. Well, I've been here before. I'm not ready. So right now, we are in the process of, well, I am in the process, I guess we have been in the process of creating a book of channeled work that really covers all the ranges of our potential experience. And that is in the editing process right now. It's been in the works for 2 or 3 months, and you can expect to see the book in maybe 2 more months after the editing process is finished. Just putting it out there now to kind of build some momentum and excitement potentially around that theme. So actually, as why I'm mentioning it, because next week we're going to open up any questions that people in the public stream might have that could potentially fit into the book. So that will be available next week, or even this week if there's something that we feel might really fit good into the book. I can ask you afterwards if it seems appropriate to include. And yeah, so I do this every week for free, and it does take quite some energy to keep this going. So if you feel inspired to donate, you can send donations to the links that are in the Zoom chat box and on the YouTube chat box. I greatly appreciate it, and it really supports me in continuing to do this. And sending you a lot of thanks and love for that support. Make sure that you're always muted if you are not speaking. And I don't think I have any other things to add or comment. Do I? I sometimes forget. Maybe not. Okay. Okay. So I'll see you guys in a little while. Hello, and we say good day to you this moment of your time. As the Pleiadian Council, we speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance and many of your own guides and guardians supporting you in this grand awakening process on your planet now. Through this transition from one experience to another, moving your entire reality's vibration into a new level of experience and perception. And it is a wonder for us to witness this and support you in this, as we, many other groups, have already gone through transitions of this nature. As you welcome our energy and the energy of many other beings like ourselves into your world, that process accelerates as you integrate the energies and the information that we offer you in various ways. It is a pleasure and honor to be here. We thank you for allowing this to take place, knowing that it is in service to all that is, and to us in the same way that it supports you. So today we begin with a message entitled Persistence and Releasing Insistence. We point those of you who may not have listened to our message and the message of others like us at these times to this understanding again that there is a formula that supports your expansion and allows for synchronicity to guide you, allows you to get in touch directly with your higher self, supporting you in this process you might call ascension. The formula is to follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero insistence on a particular outcome. Now, again, this formula divides into these three parts of following your highest excitement, which you do by tapping into the frequency of your own heart and acknowledging what out of anything you could potentially do with your energy or your focus elicits the greatest feeling of excitement, passion, love, bliss, joy. It is a sensation in the heart that you can tap into, and when you're in alignment with it and act upon it to expand it, it will guide you in that process. Now, this part is for some of you becoming easier and easier. The next part is to do this to the best of your ability, to take actions to the best of your ability, to bring in all of the details and all of your best understanding and capability to execute each step as well as you can. And this part simply requires your full attention. It requires your full willingness to change and adapt and to have a sort of positive attitude when you are faced with challenges. These two parts, for many of you, are not the most challenging part. And so we speak again on the last part, having zero insistence on outcomes. So in order to help you get a full grasp of this, we offer you, as your world often works in these seeming dichotomies, a sort of quadrant of frequencies. The negative components being resistance and insistence. These two energies work the same way. Whenever you insist that a particular thing must happen, or it must happen at a given time, or it must happen in a particular way, you are in a state of resistance to what is. You are in a state of resistance to all that is. You are resisting your own frequency and attempting to, through some mental will, create change without surrendering. The positive side of this we would call persistence and assistance. So when you find yourself in either a state of insistence or resistance, that is a reminder to cultivate these energies of persistence and assistance. So you must, in a sense, understand very thoroughly why resistance and insistence gets in your way. As soon as you start to resist what is, you contract your energy field. Whenever you say, this experience I'm having is unbearable, or so impossible to work with that I can do nothing and I will not relax or surrender until I get what I want. This is creating a signal to the universe that repels everything you are attempting to pull in. You must understand that this energy of insistence and resistance does exactly the opposite of whatever you might want. It sends away the things that you are calling in, and it also, in a sense, creates blinders, much like a horse that has those flaps on the sides of its eyes to be given a more clear direction forward. You do this to yourself. You take away your periphery vision when you are in insistence and resistance, because the very thing that you are calling in might not be exactly in front of you, but it might be to your side, behind you, or at a different point in time and space. And so when you insist that things happen exactly the way that you intend or state that they do, you don't get to see every other place where what you're calling in might be showing up for you. And you don't all get to see as well that frequencies and encounters and manifestations that you've called in long before but might have forgotten about might be showing up in the very same moment. But again, when you are in insistence, you are not focused on everything that could be. You are focused on the little details of the one thing you're trying to create. Insistence can also mean expecting other people to change or to show up for you a certain way in your relationships. And it can mean that you insist that you receive the energies that you need from a specific person rather than open yourself from all of the avenues from which it might come. This is very common in your world when individuals expect that their parents are able to give them the love and the attention and the affection that is, again, something they essentially need for the development and growth. They might not have received it in childhood, so instead they attempt to placate to their parents or support them or to give to them in the hope that they will receive reciprocal love, attention, and caring. Though oftentimes these individuals or parents or sometimes other people in an individual's life do not actually have the capability in the moment of sharing that love, attention, or affection. They are, by their own beliefs, so imprisoned that we require a meeting right now. By their own beliefs, so don't do that again, thank you. And now, again, sometimes these individuals you insist you receive love, attention, or affection from are simply not capable of it. They cannot do it because they are imprisoned by their own negative beliefs, forced into a tight corner by them, and are unable to move, give, or care because they don't believe they can, or they believe in some way that it is dangerous or harmful to them. And sometimes you will insist that these people give you an energy, give you a attention, or do something for you that they cannot do. When you do this, you replicate that lack of love within yourself. You create a perceptual experience for yourself where there is no love and you cannot experience love because you fixate on one source of love rather than being open to all potential sources of love. The truth is that there are compatible matches for you out there that can give you the love, attention, and affection that you need, but they might not be the people that you insist that they are. So this is why you must open yourself to connecting with the compatible energies out there. And when for somebody to be compatible, it means that they share, in a sense, your same intentions, values, and enough core beliefs that you can truly meet each other and reflect to each other your own essential vibration essence. Now, those who are compatible might change as you change. You might find that through your evolution, some individuals are compatible for a period of time and other individuals are not. Another way that people get very stuck in the energy of insistence is that they insist that their abundance comes from a given source. So understand that abundance is the ability to do what you need to do. And abundance is one area where many individuals so quickly fall into insistence. They insist that their abundance must come in the form of this amount of money at a given time, when sometimes there are other ways to meet their needs that money would provide for. They insist that one aspect of their passion becomes their source of abundance, when really other aspects of their passion and excitement might offer them more means of experiencing and bringing in abundance. They might insist that they have much more than they actually need, which is again not abundance, that is excess, because abundance is what you genuinely need to do what you need to do. So this degree of insistence blocks people from truly experiencing how caring, how benevolent this reality really is, and experiencing the truth that this planet and those who inhabit it will always offer you the things you need when you are really in alignment with your soul, which again is a benevolent, generous, aspect of this unconditionally loving source. So you can see many other areas where you might be falling into insistence. And now to cultivate the opposite energy, you generate persistence or assistance. Persistence means to not give up. Persistence means to, regardless of what obstacles you encounter, continue working and maneuvering your energy so that you can be in alignment with your passion and do the best you can to experience the continuation of that passion. Persistence does not mean to continue to do something when you have stopped feeling passionate about it. That is actually resistance. And your world trains you to behave this way. It trains you to never give up, when sometimes giving up is actually the vibration of persistence, not resistance. Because again, in order for something to be in energetic alignment with your soul, it has to be resonant with the formula. So you have to be excited about it. So persistence is not doing something again and again and again if you don't feel passionate about it anymore. It doesn't mean if you felt, it doesn't matter at all if you felt passionate about it a month ago, a week ago, or 5 minutes ago. What matters more is that in this present moment, it elicits that feeling of passion for you. So persistence means that you continue again to do the very best you can. It means that you keep your eyes open for all other ways that the energy or the manifestation you are calling in can show up for you. It means continuing to reach out to others who might be able to your own essential nature and the understanding you must cultivate in order to keep going. Persistence means never giving up on passion, though again, that can manifest as giving up on the specific thing that you thought in a past now moment you were excited for, and bringing yourself into the genuine, actual now present one. Now, the energy of assistance is the other vibration we invite you to cultivate. Assistance is to be supportive of yourself and be supportive of others, and to recognize that you are not essentially alone in the path of your excitement. Again, all is one and the one is in all. So your passion will synchronistically draw in both non-physical supporting spirit guides and allies, and also other humans whose passion lines up with your own passion. And by being in that resonant energy field of excitement, you can bring in the assistant beings that can help you bring together the necessary components of your manifestation. Assistance also means assisting yourself. It means holding a positive, caring space for your needs and your passion, to not abandon yourself in a way when things become difficult, but to understand that when your own negative belief systems come up in the process of following your passion, as they always will, that is a moment to create a field of care, love, and affection for yourself, especially if part of your passion is receiving that from others. So assistance in this way is to hold yourself and not abandon yourself, to recognize that you have to be the embodiment of the support you want to feel from the universe and from others by first of all supporting yourself and supporting your excitement. And again, one way that you can do this is by aligning your beliefs so that you actually believe and feel that what you are passionate about is possible. And now, again, remember, the addendums to the formula are that to make this process complete, as you follow your excitement to the best of your ability without insisting on outcomes, you then will encounter negative belief systems that distort your perception and make your perception of yourself and of the reality around you distorted and not as clear or transparent and easy. So the rest of the formula is that you adapt your belief system so that you can genuinely move forward. And it is also that you, in a sense, surrender to that process and knowing that the only way to change your beliefs is to bring as much complete awareness as you can into the emotional ramifications of such beliefs, as healing is feeling, as we have shared in our transmission 2 weeks ago. If you would like to look deeper into that subject, you can understand that in order to transcend that it generates within you, and you have to make peace with those emotions, knowing that it is only when you are not in a state of resistance to what you're feeling, but instead in a state of assisting yourself to move through it and persisting in maintaining a clear state of awareness and acceptance, that you will actually be able to move those emotions and those belief systems from your being. So you can, in a sense, consider resistance as the yin or passive form of the negative blocking energy, and assistance to be the yin form of the positive supportive energy. Whereas insistence is the yang form, the active form of the blocking negative energy. And persistence is the positive expression of the yang clearing energy. So note which state you are in. The yang forms have more intensity to them. There is movement. So when you are insisting, you are acting in ways and attempting to force and change and impose your will upon. Whereas again, in the persistence, you continue to move, you continue to adjust your energy and find other solutions, but you do it in a positive, accepting way. The yin form of resistance is simply becoming stuck, not moving, not doing anything, in a sense, giving up on yourself because you have not gotten what you set out for in following your passion, and therefore you decide that it is a dead end before you actually get to the dead end. The yin experience of assistance is to honor yourself and to trust that no matter how stuck you feel, when you create a soft, loving space for yourself and all involved in the shared excitement that you might have together, you can expand into more love, more positive energy, and begin to generate momentum in that energy of excitement once again. So we hope this supports you, and we hope you can integrate this in your understanding in the ways that work for you. We thank you for allowing us to share this message with you now. And now we would ask, how can we be of assistance to you this moment of your time?
We have a written question here.
All right.
You have said we cannot change others, we must change ourselves. But how do we find a suitable way? For example, it is now illegal in my country for healthy law-abiding people to enter a restaurant, a museum, or a place of work. What changes can we make inside ourselves when the world is so deranged? Or what about someone who is falsely accused or imprisoned? And when others believe lies about someone you know who is innocent but should be free.
Here, this is about, again, releasing insistence. So if you are not capable of entering into these various locations, you are, again, insisting that you are able to meet your needs for food, for example, in a restaurant rather than cooking for yourself, or that you are able to explore, discover through a museum rather than understanding you have much exploration available to you through driving around or through exploring your internet or through reading books or anything of that nature. Now, you may also be insisting that you are able to work or do various things without this sort of alteration they are imposing on you and your bodies at this time. And understand that, again, if you bring your belief systems into alignment and, in a sense, surrender, you can receive this without having the intense negative reactions that some report. So if you are being forced, there are ways that you can make do with whatever is happening. And again, it is only your own insistence that is pigeonholing you into being stuck in a given situation when really you have other ways of meeting your needs, or if nothing else is possible, you can adapt in some ways. So notice again the degree of fear holding you back from having other explorations or doing any given thing. You can have positive experiences within limiting circumstances. And sometimes if you cannot do exactly what you want to do, there are other paths to take that are just as helpful, just as beneficial. And so when it comes to changing yourself, that is the change that we suggest, is to release your insistence. And it won't necessarily change the outer world, but it will change your experience of it. If someone is imprisoned or trapped, of course, that is a challenging experience that is not beneficial in many ways. Though even with shifts of one's attitude and beliefs in those experiences, one can have a positive experience of that. It is, of course, very challenging, but it can be done through adjustments of those beliefs and through appreciating the ways that needs can still be met even within limiting, challenging circumstances.
Thank you. One more written question. Is it possible to focus on embracing positive beliefs that potentially can override negative beliefs versus discovering negative beliefs and then work from there?
It is better to discover the negative beliefs first before jumping to the opposite positive belief. In fact, you don't actually need to use a positive belief to get rid of the negative belief, though it is often helpful. We use, again, this metaphor that negative beliefs are like cement boots in the water. They pull you down very quickly. And so positive beliefs and positive affirmations and positive thoughts and so on and so forth are like putting on a life jacket or a flotation device of some kind. You are able to stay up, but you still have cement boots on. And so if you take the cement boots off, it makes it much easier to swim and you don't actually need the flotation device. So what is most important is discovering and dismantling the negative belief, yes. And you can see there are individuals in your world who have not really made friends with their negative beliefs. And these individuals are a bit like parrots that say, I am healthy, I am happy, I am well, I am happy, I am healthy, I am well. But do not feel that way, do not experience that, do not embody that. They are simply so afraid of getting in touch with their own negativity that all they can do is mimic others and try to emulate positive energy. But actually, they are in a great state of fear of their own negativity, and they are unwilling to feel it because they have learned something that feeling it will keep it with them longer, when actually the opposite is true. Feeling it and getting in touch with it and developing an attitude of assistance and persistence in dismantling it will break down the negativity and break down the belief system and allow these individuals to be free from their negativity. And yes, you can, after discovering the negative belief, discover that opposite positive belief. It is as simple as discovering what the belief feels like and putting words to it. If it is something simple like I am unworthy, then the thought would be I am worthy. And again, you can use this thought to generate momentum in the energy of your excitement. And it is then helpful to, again, get back in touch with your excitement and start to act upon it. But again, if what you do is instead sit in your room and say, I am worthy, but then you don't act on your excitement, you are literally doing nothing. Understand that it is the actions you take in the frequency of excitement that actually start to move your engine forward. And you cannot essentially change your energy by words and thoughts alone. You have to use actions to back them. Actions that genuinely are embodiments of that energy of passion.
Okay, so DCH, you can ask your question.
Hello, yes.
My question is, could you tell me anything about the language I began speaking? And is it what is referred to as a light language?
Oh, yes, it is a light language. It is, in a sense, a transmission from your own higher self and from certain specific guides. You can use this light language to enter into great states of excitement, otherwise known as, in this case, channeling states, in which certain vibrations move through your body and can be transmit eventually to those around you. You can bring these energies in for releasing negative energies, negative beliefs, or symptoms of dis-ease, and calling forward new messages, creative inspiration, and other sorts of what you call downloads in your world.
Cool.
Your sound is breaking up. We cannot hear you.
What certain words mean, like my name is sister.
We cannot hear anything. We cannot hear anything.
So, DCH, can you please write the question? I will read it for you.
Fish.
And
that's okay. I give you guys my question. Thank you.
Okay, so you can write it if you want. And now, Josh, you can be the next.
Thank you. How are you, Pleiadian Council? Thank you for this transmission.
Oh, we are fantastic. How are you?
Awesome. And getting more awesome with your answers. I would like to ask a bit of clarification on what you've mentioned, the idea of the highest excitement. Can excitement, what is, okay, what would you describe as excitement? Could it be not only the goosebump, but could it be simply having an idea to take a walk or to draw a specific thing?
Yes.
Or, oh, okay, wait, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It is, again, in the moment. It doesn't have to be something profound, seemingly mystical or metaphysical. It is simply having interest, having excitement is simply having a desire to do something that feels more than anything else uplifting, joyful, and inspiring. And again, when you discover what the little excitements are, you will get the bigger excitements. So people might hear this message and they might, again, go into this big question, what is my purpose? And attempt to mentally figure out what they are here to do by using the stories and narratives in their consciousness to create a new narrative about them and their great purpose, when actually this is the best way to prove yourself wrong again and again, because it is by generating momentum that you come into alignment with your true purpose. And again, your purpose is to be yourself. For some of you, it is much more simple than it is for others. Being yourself is all you have come here to do. And excitement and joy and love is the best way to be yourself. It is the best way to discover your true self. Because again, all of the negative beliefs and negative energies are not ultimately your source self. They are not your higher self. They are a limited expression of what the mental body takes on within this incarnation. So your purpose is being, and excitement is the way to be the highest version of yourself. So again, when you have free time and you have the option between taking a walk, making a drawing, reading a book, calling a friend, watching a television program, painting your toenails, eating a banana, which of all of those options feels the most exciting for you? Which of them, when you focus upon it, do you feel a frequency move in your heart and expand through your body, even if it is just tiny and slight? That is the next step to take. And in the next moment, then continue to ask what is going to continue to expand this heart energy right here and now. And when you listen to it, then again, it creates momentum that over time builds and builds, so you can take any step that really resonates, and you will know because it feels right.
Wow, terrific. That part was has always been a bit of the confusing part, because there's been, I imagine, social indoctrination where it kind of keeps us overly focused on an aspect of objective per objective and doesn't necessarily allow certain things like that to come up. So it brings up guilt within, but it's useless guilt.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This has been awesome.
What would there be to be guilty about?
Maybe this idea of not, following, let's say, what would bring the goosebumps or what would bring some kind of content to everyone else.
Though again, here is a degree of insistence that one, your excitement has to bring something to other people, or in the other example, that your excitement has to be totally profound. Excitement can be what you consider mundane or typical. Those things are, in a sense, one of the most powerful ways to experience excitement, because again, it dissolves the sense that source is anywhere other than now. You can be embodying source energy and unconditional love, regardless of what you're doing. If it is as mundane as washing the clothes or the dishes, that can still be a divine moment, because it is. It is simply that your own beliefs and perceptions are not aligned to experience it in that way. And in terms of, yes, sharing something with others, we understand that it is very helpful. And again, it is one of the best ways to expand, because then all of the energy you put out is reflected back to you. But sometimes you can just put out energy into the mirror in front of you of something simple that you perhaps journal or draw for yourself, or a simple activity that is just done because you enjoy it. Understand that those acts of self-care also generate momentum. And again, that is why you have so many areas of needs and desires, because all of them, again, create a complete picture of your life. And none of these areas are more or less important than any other. They all have an important role for you. And if you neglect one area of your life or your self-care because you deem it mundane or less helpful or less useful to others, you will eventually see how taking that piece of the puzzle out makes the thing itself incomplete. So everything that is exciting for you is relevant, and there is no need to feel guilt about anything you are excited about, unless it, of course, harms others or yourself. The energy of guilt is there when you have done harm. Or rather, the energy of guilt and shame are only meant to be there when you have done harm. They are corrective energies. They help you apologize and amend for what you have done if that is possible. And once you have done your best in amending your supposed mistake, those energies of guilt and shame are meant to vanish instantaneously. So you must notice when there is guilt or shame present when you have done nothing to harm yourself or others. Because if you have caused no harm and you are feeling that emotion, that means that, again, you have developed negative belief systems from your conditioning and trauma, and you need to work on undoing them, because you are really supposed to feel those emotions very rarely, if not ever at all.
That is magnificent. Yeah, there's a lot of deprogramming to do, but as going with that flow, and listening to the prior channeling, like just going with the excitement will literally burst through them. So thank you.
Oh, great. Thanks. I'd love to see you as well. Thanks.
A question from Lucas. Hi Pleiadians, I have a question. When 2025 comes around, will the golden age arrive on Earth as we go through these changes?
This decade is one of great transition, yes. And it is very likely that between that year 2025 and 2030, around 2026 or 7, there are great open contact experiences that will take place. Again, this depends on the ways that you as individuals come to follow your passion, to come into alignment with that frequency, because it depends on the collective vibration of your planet by that time. So we cannot promise or say anything at all, though yes, you are moving into a time of greater expansion, less density, open contact, and the ability for all to perceive and connect with higher dimensions. Though again, this won't be something that simply happens and everyone's psychic abilities will just turn on. It does require your participation in engaging with your excitement and following the formula in order to be a resonant match at that level. The work you do in that area supports everyone else in the collective planet as a whole in getting to that place together.
Thank you. Okay, then I have a question. It's around compliments and giving encouragement to people. I have noticed that you don't really do that. And
we do not? All right.
Not as I perceive it. And
right.
So it comes quite naturally for me towards other people. And my question is that, because I cannot see clearly or sense, is it only because I would like people to do it for me as well? And the other thing is it too much encouraging the ego structure, or or making the identification stronger with.
No, this is an act of assistance. You are encouraging people to develop more positive beliefs, positive attitudes, positive energy towards themselves. So it is well and good. There are circumstances in which it might not be good, in which you are perhaps reflecting something that is not true. For some individuals, it is such a habit to always be telling others lovely things that they will be inauthentic in their expression. And if you are telling something positive that you don't believe, you are not actually supporting them. So the best thing to do is to allow it to come naturally. And yes, you can look for positive things, but look for positive things where they actually are, not where they are not.
Yes, sure. Like, for example, saying.
And again, yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
For example, saying to a person, "Wow, you are so strong," or "You are so." How do you say in English? Yeah, it was very powerful to what you have done, to be able to, for example, to let go of something, and then the ego, or the identification might get stronger. You understand what I mean?
Yes, it might. But again, are they identifying with something true and positive? Here's another way that this could be negative. Because if you say to somebody who is not following their excitement and is instead putting themselves through things that are challenging, but they don't enjoy and don't actually represent their excitement or their passion or their purpose, and you tell them they are strong or resilient for doing it, you are reinforcing a negative pattern within them. So with this particular example, you must ask, is somebody genuinely following their excitement? Are they being genuinely authentic with themselves and for themselves? Because if they are not, then complimenting them is not helping.
Right.
Do you see?
But if then complimenting when the person has done a great job,
Yes, then it is helpful, because it, again, is a way that you're acting like a mirror for them to see themselves, to see their power, to see their own beauty, as sometimes individuals do not see what they are capable of and what they actually accomplish doing what they're doing. Sometimes they do not value themselves enough to be able to thank themselves and appreciate themselves. So again, if it is genuinely coming from an act of their excitement and you compliment them, then it helps them. And again, there is no issue with the ego and with the identities as long as they are oriented in positive ways that do not, in a sense, overemphasize one value over others or de-emphasize it under others. In that sense, when identity is with one's innate capability and the universal understanding that the all is in oneself, then the identity structure is ultimately a very important and helpful and useful.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, our great thanks and love to you as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
I would appreciate some general guidance in terms of, say that somebody is going through a situation that, like, maybe I might be inclined to offer my wisdom. However, perhaps there is a like perhaps like it would be best if they like were meant to have the experience of going through it on their own without me offering anything.
Yes.
How to kind of discern between that, or at least like some kind of any thoughts you have on that idea? Discern between like when to speak, when not to.
The only time that this would be bad is if the person is in genuine resistance to your input. If they are saying, no, I don't want to hear that, or I hear you, but I'm going to do it this way anyway, and you keep insisting that they listen to you, then you push them deeper in the state of their resistance, and then it is not helpful. So a person has to be ready and willing to change and adapt. And that you can feel pretty clearly and easily when you tune in with somebody's frequency.
So often, I mean, I kind of get the difference between those, and often it seems like people might be open to what I'm saying. Do you agree with that? In terms of my personal experience, I guess.
Often, yes. Often, yes.
Like,
What was that?
Could you,
All right.
real resistance.
Farewell for now.
your sound doesn't come
We cannot
through.
hear you. Please write your question.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
In that situation, I sometimes kind of worry that I might want to offer the perfect words, feel so like really say the perfect words, unless like I'm not really feeling any like major pull against any particular words.
But again, then you are in a degree of insistence that what you are offering is right, when that insistence is distorting it. So you have to get truly in touch with yourself and let go of any insistence that your message is received or that it is perfect. When you strive for perfection, you will always miss the mark. So it is better and easier to allow it to be an exploration and an experiment, and trust that if you don't say it right the first time, you can always try again. All right, let's move on.
Yes, sure. Max, go ahead.
Greetings, Pleiadians.
Hello, yes, welcome.
I've enjoyed listening to you over the last few months and appreciate all that you provide for us in these sessions. I have an unusual question. I don't know if you know anything about this, but I was watching a video from a guy named Christopher S. Jacobs on YouTube, and he was saying,
all right,
if you put Shungite in water and then take a pointer laser beam they use for demonstration purposes and in meetings and things through that water and place it on the body, it could have very good effects for healing. Do you know anything about that?
oh yes. This is a permission slip that can provide some healing and beneficial experiences. The Shungite is known to purify the water its chemical structure breaks off into the water and removes toxins from it, and also makes the water, in a sense, more vibrationally compatible with the body. It is more helpful when it is the silver form of Shungite, but other forms will still have a similar effect. And this is especially useful if your water is in some sense polluted. Now, this permission slip of using this water to heal the body from the outside will, yes, work for some individuals. It is, of course, by no means a panacea, but it is something that is useful.
Okay, thank you very much for that information.
Yes, sir, thanks to you as well.
Hello again. I may have a follow-up
Hello, yes.
question to that.
All right.
I have seen and heard about the water experiment done in Japan, and it was also replicated with rice. The idea that our consciousness affects living material around us. I was wondering, in that aspect, is that an area of effect? Meaning, if we're staying in a high and positive state next to water, will it affect it casually, or do we have to manually focus our intention on it? And is it cumulative?
Yes. Without even intending to have an effect, you have an effect. You have an impact all the time. The frequency you out impacts everything around you always. And yes, it will affect the water. You can amplify that by focusing your frequency, by focusing on the energy that you put into the water. But for example, even people having a negative argument or conversation while cooking will leave that impact on the food, and they can, in a sense, take that vibration deeper into their body by ingesting it without first clearing the energy of the space in themselves.
So it could be mistakenly done, but it's also much more potent if we do it willingly, if we willingly put an intention on the water, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks to you as well.
And the same with the crystals, isn't it? If we use crystals without an intention, comparing to with an intention, how big is the difference? Or how much does it impact us without intention?
How much do crystals impact you without intention?
If you wear it as a jewel, for example.
It has a vibrational resonance that leaves an impact, though not everyone will necessarily experience it consciously. So your engagement with it as a permission slip and your belief focus upon it will amplify it much more palpably. You can see your intentions manifest as you focus on it and see your engagement with that stone as a relationship. Though, yes, it will, of course, do something on subtle levels, even if somebody has zero awareness about it.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks to you.
Hello, dear Pleiadians. This is George.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much for this extraordinary master lesson you have given us today in the prologue.
Oh, thanks to you.
I look forward to deepening into this information. And I did have a question, if
All
I
right.
may. Regarding the way energy moves through our bodies when we are in meditation. And I hear you and others guiding us to sit up straight with our spine aligned and our feet firmly planted in the ground. And this all makes perfect sense. So my question is about how does the energy move through our bodies when we lay down for meditation? I ask this because I find I'm able to go much more deeply, regardless of whether it's silent meditation or guided meditation or one of your beautiful crystal column of light meditations, that when I'm laying down, I'm able to relax into my body in a way that I'm not when I'm sitting up. And I do practice both. I practice as an active form of elongating the spine and really aligning that way. But when we're laying down, how do our feet connect with the energies of the earth? And what is the pattern when does the energy come down through perpendicular to our head, or I hope my question is clear. Thank you.
Yes, we understand. We can speak on this, yes. The lengthening of the spine creates a flowing channel that ultimately is the same when you lay down, because again, when your spine is flat against the ground and you are sleeping, or rather laying flat against your back, your spine is still straight. Though when you are seated up, this crown center of yours can really align with the galactic center and pull in that frequency. Whereas when you're lying down, it is not your crown, but the front side of your chakras that lines up with the galactic center and the back side with the earth. So understand that, again, in standing or seated, you pull it in through the open root and the open crown. But in lying down, it comes in through the front and the back of the other chakras. And that allows you, in a sense, to surrender more. When you meditate laying down, you can go into deeper trances, as you have noted, though it also poses that ability to lose consciousness quicker. You can go out and into the trance and into another dimension, but your awareness of the experience can diminish much more quickly when you lay down. And so it is in sitting meditation that you cultivate your ability to maintain awareness as you move through trance states. And when you slouch, for example, it does, in a sense, enhance that unconsciousness or that ability for the energy to, in a sense, leak from your body a bit more. However, then there is, in a sense, a benefit to moments in which you truly lay down, or in a sense, even slouch or relax while seated, when it is there for you to get in touch with emotional experiences and belief systems. So you meditate and sit up nice and tall and clear to get into a state of clarity, transmission, and download. But sometimes in order to go into a release state or a release process, to surrender in a sense by also surrendering your control of your body, and slouching or laying down can allow for energies to release from your system much quicker.
Thank you. That really makes a lot of sense. And if I may continue, I am hearing you say that if we're laying down, it sounds like the energy basically bypasses our feet altogether. Is that correct?
Well, it still will move through them, but you are taking in more from your back, from the earth. You will still feel it in your feet as well. They also have a way of pulling in the energy regardless.
Ah, this
What
is
we're
very
saying is that more will come through there when you are seated.
This is really helpful in answering questions I've had for a long time about this, and it's really useful in terms of being able to visualize how the energy is moving. And I also was curious about, I've heard you say to make sure that we uncross our feet, uncross our legs, but then I've also, I think, if I'm correct, I think I've heard you say that it's okay to sit cross-legged. So I guess I'm just asking about what
Well, when you are
having.
seated cross-legged, your knees don't necessarily go on top of each other. And so it is crossing of the knees or crossing of the joints in that way that can block the flow of energy and stop it from flowing as clearly. When you are seated in meditation, the energy doesn't travel as much through your legs and feet as it comes up directly from the root chakra itself. So it is useful, but again, that is why there are also asanas or yoga postures that come with meditation practice, as making sure that the legs are still functional and are capable of seated for prolonged amounts of time while cross-legged is very helpful in having the clearest meditation experience.
Thank you. One other point about this, especially during the long hours of meditation in my childhood, I find that my legs go asleep within about 20 minutes, causing very painful leg tingling. And is that a sign that I should be sitting in a different, like in a chair, as opposed to trying to sit cross-legged? Or is there something about that I need to work
it is
through?
No, you are best to move your legs before it becomes too intense, or to do some preparatory, again, asanas or yoga postures that can prolong the amount of time you sit in meditation. That is what the limb of yoga, asana, is all about, is making the body comfortable to maintain the seat. So then it is not useful to, in a sense, cause your body physical pain to endure that pain to get into a state of meditation. We understand that that is a part of some traditions, but we also point to the understanding here that those traditions were created for the time of the world in which they were in, which in a sense require degrees of renunciation of the physical in order to get to the spiritual, which is again a collective distortion that in a sense prevents you from fully experiencing the spiritual within the material, because it is all here and now, and spirit is not separate from matter. They are at one already. So in a sense, bringing comfort into your material experience is just as important as having the spiritual experience, even when you're meditating.
Thank you so much. I hope that this information will be useful to others as well. And just to put a finial on it, it sounds like you are encouraging these both modes of seated and laying down meditation, depending on where we're at, which is what I will continue. Thank you so much.
Yes, use them for different purposes. Oh, our great love and thanks to you as well.
Please go ahead, Angela.
Thank you. Hello, Pleiadians.
Hello.
I have a question in terms of ley lines on the planet here. I've heard it said that different locations are more resonant for certain people, certain places, maybe different types of things might happen. You know, you could move to Costa Rica and suddenly your career takes off, or move to New Mexico and have a soulmate show up. Is this a true thing? And can you speak on kind of locations as it pertains to people moving certain places or even just visiting for a time?
Energy moves through your planet's grid, and there are areas in which they are sort of like hubs for the energy to focalize. So there are what you know as power places or vortexes that have a heightened vibrational field about them. When you enter into these spaces, you can tune into multidimensional experiences with more ease, or they can open you to particular astral planes or activate certain psychic abilities, or help you get in touch with certain chakras or certain components of yourself simply by being located in that field. So some of you have come to associate these different places with planetary chakras. And yes, that is resonant in a sense that these centers will often have a particular vibration that you might find resonates more certainly with a certain chakra and certain themes of life. An example of that being lakes that are, which you might know as crater lakes, will often have the vibration of the sacral chakra connecting also with that navel center. These places are earth navels where creative energy can focus. Mountains being a place that are like crown chakras often. They reach high to ground energy down and into the earth. Desert places are often like solar plexus chakras. They create a fiery field of transmutation and intensity that can help generate great currents in the environment. And in a sense, as you come there, they create a great inner will, inner fire to move through and create transformation. Forests are often like heart chakras. They are filled with life. They generate fields of balance and harmony and new life forms and experiences and expressions of love. So there are even more examples of this. And yes, there are, in a sense, associations you have made around the world with different places. So consult many opinions and see what resonates. None of this is fixed in the sense that your planet genuinely has its own crown chakra. It is merely that these places resonate more with that center and can help you activate that center in your own way. Now, in terms of your personal experience, in the permission slips of astrology, you come to see that certain places might have a certain impact on you more than others. Again, astrology is reflecting an inner experience. So we don't actually encourage you to live by the way that your map, your personal astrocartography layout is in order to get a certain effect. We encourage you to go where you are called to go and trust that the map will reflect to you what kinds of energies you are going to work on and work through in that area. Again,
Yes.
excitement is key in bringing you where you need to go. So don't let somebody else's advice distort your own connection with your inner excitement.
Okay, thank you. For some time now, I've been drawn to Mexico, and the channel here has just recently traveled there. And that is an area in particular that draws me, but a large portion of Mexico does. So it is exciting.
Yes.
Would you consider that to be the energies there? I know you mentioned lots of mountains and forests, but in a sense, it's coastal and more tropical. And I don't know if it's just, there's many things, the weather, the people, all the things, but I'm considering moving.
Yes. If it is exciting for you, then follow the flow. This land of Mexico offers many different frequencies. First of all, that of the Maya, the Aztec, the Olmec, the Zapotec, and so on and so forth. The different cultures that were, in many senses, tapped into a more natural flow of time. They only lived here and now, and they, through their understanding of the cycles of planets and greater cosmic cycles, knew how to do things at the appropriate time and not get lost in fixation on the past and the future. This is still a frequency that this place offers, as well it offers the frequency of greater freedom and surrender in some ways. There are many places here that call people for different reasons. So tune in with your own intention and find alignment with intentions shared by others. That will help you get drawn into the places that resonate most with you. You can also simply travel about until you find the place that feels right and you know and trust to be that landing place. Again, as you mentioned, the oceans, these are cleansing areas where the salt and the water can move stuck and stagnant emotional energies and currents out from one's field. So these are healing, clearing places. In this sense, they resonate most with the throat chakra of the body.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, our thanks to you as well. And to mention at least one type of place that resonates most with the third eye chakra, that would be caves. Because again, moving into the darkness forces you to cultivate a sense of inner light. In caves, you get in touch with your own inner light and find in that sense clarity. And there are, of course, many other places that will resonate more with this chakra. Certain vortexes have a field that can amplify your psychic connection quite powerfully. Are there any other questions?
We don't have written questions in the YouTube chat neither.
I could ask another question.
All right. All right, yes.
My question would be, what is the most significant astrological event coming up in the next 6 months?
Oh, that will be different depending on the person. So everyone will have their own, in a sense, personal, most significant astrological event. Though what we would point to are the final squares between the planets of Saturn and Uranus. This is pointing to the struggle for freedom that is taking place in your world and the acts of control, the ways that your society is being controlled by certain authorities, and the counter, again, reaction to move towards freedom. In the next square, you will note that Uranus is retrograde. So Uranus is not as powerful as before. And while, again, astrology do note that outer planets have more potency than inner planets, and in these relationships that you consider conflicts between the planets, usually the outer planet wins. In this case, because of the retrograde motion of Uranus, there will be weakness, and you might see, again, greater control and imposition of certain restrictions at the next one coming up in December. Though the final one happening later in your springtime is the undoing, is the movement towards freedom. And these times will be, in a sense, moments for all of you to break free in your own ways, to break free of your own limitations, not just the limitations imposed by society, but the ways that you accept limitations suggested to you by society, suggested to you by authority, suggested to you by your parents, but are not essentially real. So in order for you all to break free from this, you have to understand that most of the laws and rules and regulations out there are not actively enforced. They are enforced by your fear. The fear that they instill in you brings the majority of you to conform to these rules, regulations, and laws that are not essentially actively enforced. And so you have to question then, is this regulation or rule there for a good reason? Is this there for my benefit and the benefit of all? Because if it is not, and if the only way it is being enforced is by your own fear, then you have the power to choose a different reality. You have the power to choose a different way of acting. You have the power to, in a sense, live outside of the scope of it. And this will happen in small ways and in collective ways. And this will happen for all of you as a means to understand that the chains that were holding you back were chains that you always had the key to. So now own the reality that you can set yourself free.
Okay, thank you
And
very much
as
for that.
more and more of you do this, the world will again return to a greater freedom than it ever had been in before.
Excellent news. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Hello again.
Hello, yes.
There was an experience that had happened a night or two ago where there was yes, it was under some microdosing of marijuana, yet there was an experience of understanding or perceiving the perpetual expansion through any event or even thoughts. Just this aspect of kind of like sensing the growth that we get from moment to moment. Yet it was during that night, it kind of petered out in the morning, but could you say anything on that?
What sort of clarity did you experience?
It was in the moment, understanding that everything perceived had a specific reason or meaning. Everything that was kind of even experienced in the moment, and that time was much more, let's say, much more valuable than or had more potency than, let's say, playing a video game or something else. But even playing the video game brought certain hints, nudges from the higher self.
So you are understanding that everything you perceive is a message in a sense, has something to tell you within it. Yes. Yes, again, reality is a continuous mirror. And as you study what the permission slip you know as divination, you can also understand that every little sign, every little thing that happens has a message in it. Though again, you create the message. And as you come to understand the story of your own beliefs and how they impact you, you will know more through the feeling, the meaning that you are generating. But simultaneously, you come to realize that meaning is optional. If a certain permission slip or certain reflection triggers in you a feeling that you dislike, then that is an invitation to change your interpretation of reality and change again the beliefs within you that generate that interpretation. So the universe is, yes, continuously communicating with you through every little sign, and everything that needs to be known can be known. So again, having the understanding that your beliefs are shaping the way you see things can help you release, again, any distortions that can turn what might be a positive message into a negative message.
So it's very fascinating. It's like a continuous stream of hints and events, yet the only thing potentially distorting those would be any kind of negative belief kept in the past. Yet it's like fascinating because it kind of goes in tandem with, you know, having this excitement, following the passion, and then breaking through those kind of events while still like becoming like a fine wine taster, noticing the beauty in each and every moment with much more awareness and acuity. It's like a practice, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it is. It's a practice of continuously tuning your perception, tuning your awareness so that you are able to experience more and notice more details of life. So that analogy of tasting fine wine is quite applicable, but you're not only tasting, you're feeling, you're seeing, you're smelling, you're noticing as well the inner quality of thoughts and feelings and how they move through your bodily as subtle energy, and also the way that other people's energy moves about space as well. So it is both your physical senses, your psychic senses, and your inner awareness of how your own beliefs create your perception of all of it, that includes the complete awareness that needs to be activated in any moment. And again, if you are truly tuned into all of the levels of awareness that you can have, you will never, ever be bored, ever.
Oh, that is quite awesome. It really like brings a new paradigm. Thank you.
Oh, great, thanks to you as well. Are there any people that have not had the opportunity to ask a question that would like to ask one?
We're not so many on the chat today, on the Zoom chat.
All right.
Let me check YouTube again. No.
All right then, yes. Then we thank all of you together and each of one of you as individuals for participating and co-creating this interaction today. It has been a pleasure for us to share. We can now offer a closing with a brief meditation. Begin by sitting up nice and tall if you can. With your feet against the ground if you can. Closing your eyes. Bringing yourself into your body. Taking in slow, deep breaths, filling your lungs completely. Imagining your body filling with great light with the breaths in and out. Picture great roots of light reaching out from the base of your spine and from your feet and going into the earth. Feel them wrapping around the crystals, minerals, and metals, going deeper down through the underground streams of lava, water, through the magma of the earth, to the solid crystal core of the planet. Feel the vibration of this place and imagine it as a deep energy moving up through these roots, rapidly pouring into your body, coming up to your feet and from the base of your spine, and filling your whole body with this resonating, powerful earth energy. Open a pillar of light around your body as this energy of the earth supports you, and see this chamber of light reach up to the galactic center, the great central sun. See this light pouring down from this place and from many stars of healing from your own sun, descending into your body like a stream, shower of immense light, pouring through your crown and pouring through every cell of your body. We invite you now to picture yourself in a brilliant place in nature, perhaps somewhere familiar, or somewhere you know from your inner journeying places. Find yourself going there at night, in the darkness. Notice the sounds around you of birds, insects, the creatures out there. Notice what it feels like to be here in this place of darkness. How do you relate to the dark? Is it scary? Or is it simply unknown? Move around through this place and notice that while you may not be able to see all of the details, with your feet, with your hands, your other senses, you can walk about and navigate. Walk until you find a place where you can meet a guide of yours who is here to teach you how to see through the dark. Perhaps they'll meet you at a tree, an altar, in a cave even. Make your way to them and allow them in their own way to support you in integrating this great lesson. Allow this lesson to manifest in whatever way serves. Perhaps it comes with words, or perhaps it is simply an inner knowing you receive. Know that this gift will help you in the now and in times to come. That you need not struggle to move through the unknown, but there is an inner light that can illuminate all that you cannot yet see. You may think you need to see more than you can possibly see. But when you learn to understand more from what you can see, you can come to see that less is often more. That the details that are present for you can be enough to have a greater understanding of the now and of the all. Allow these energies to integrate in their own way. And deepen in your breath again, slowly bringing yourself back to your own time and space and your own body. Once again, we thank you for allowing us to share these energies with you, our unconditional love is with you. Thank you again for all that you offer us, your experience of us and our experience of so it is with joy we thank you, and we say we will see you in other ways whenever you would wish to connect with us, your own guides or members of the Galactic Alliance. Remember, we are always here for you to connect with in your own way, and we will see you in these continued interactions if that calls to you and your excitement. Okay.
Thank you. Wow.
How's
That
everyone
was
doing?
fantastic.
Very welcome, very welcome.
All of the questions.
Thanks for joining today, everybody. Yeah, fun stuff.
And that was a powerful meditation.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
I'm
amazing.
glad to hear that.
Very interesting.
Hey.
Angela, where are you thinking of coming in Mexico?
Oh, you're on mute, Angela.
Or maybe she's not there anymore.
Oh, thank you. Possibly Sayulita, possibly the Oaxaca area, Zipoteca, maybe.
Cool. Yeah, I'm in Zipolite in Oaxaca. Oaxaca is where it's at. So I recommend everybody to take a peek here if you're ever called. Zunte, Zipolite, Puerto Escondido all have a kind of spiritual vibration to them. It's hot though.
Is it hot all year round?
Yes, all the time. It's really hot all the time. And now it's going to be the least hot, but the summer is really crazy hot. Thank you, George.
And you're settled in. I heard your trip was quite adventurous.
I was a bit chaotic. Yeah, but I'm not quite settled in yet. I have some errands to do. I have to find a like more long-term place there. But actually, like, there's the intention to buy some community land here and build a sort of sanctuary with some various people. So I'm gonna be working on that this time. Not sure how that's gonna go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, holding space for that to happen. Maybe that's where I'll land.
Thank you. Perhaps.
I
Yeah.
should say I was supposed to go to Mexico in December the 1st, and the Canadian government changed the law so that I had to get a PCR test to get out of the country. And I refused because I think that puts you into a program, you know, you're computerized and you're a number. So I won't even get a PCR test, let alone an inoculation. So I'm stuck in Canada for the winter. I was going to go down.
Oh, that's a pity.
That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. I would look at beliefs about that as well, because I've had that PCR test and a lot of people get it. I don't know what they can discover about us through that, but I understand in a way. I don't think it's that dangerous, the test.
No? Okay.
I don't think so. It's not like you're putting something permanently in your body, you know?
Well,
And at least, I don't know. I don't know. Listen to yourself about it. But.
Oh.
Well, thanks for joining, everybody.
Thank you, Dante, for
I
everything.
posted the links for potential donations. If you want to support this, it really helps me in keeping this happening every month or every week. So the links are there in the YouTube chat and the Zoom chat. I am available for private sessions, and it probably, I don't know, how was the loudness here? Because just when I do private sessions, I won't have to do it in these spaces because it doesn't require as much bandwidth, but I'm curious, was the sound quality okay for everybody?
It started out a little rough, but it got better for me.
Okay. Yeah. Like there wasn't as much noise over time.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you in a public setting?
Yeah, because the mobile data isn't powerful enough here to do a whole transmission just at home. And the Wi-Fi isn't strong in any given hotel as well. So there's certain places one has to go to. And I picked this restaurant, but I know of some other places that might be a little bit better. So I'm gonna investigate it this week and figure that out for next week. All right, well, thanks everybody. I'm gonna get going for now, but I appreciate everyone for being here. Tune in to next week's transmission if you like, and remember, that's the chance. If you have anything that you think would be great material for the book, we can throw it in there as well. Yeah, stay tuned. Thanks again, much love, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon.
Thank you. Stay awesome.
Thank you.
You too. Bye bye for now.